Yeah. Oh, sorry. So, sorry. So it is high level language in the sense languages can be uh, divided into two types. One is a low level language and a high level language. Fortran, Algol, and all assembly languages are considered as a low level language. Okay. Java is a very high level language. So since it is a high level language, what is its advantage? What is the advantage of this? High level languages are easy to understand. Actually, we follow grammar. Okay, in high level language, as a human being, we can understand all high level languages. C Sharp, Java, okay, Python, these are actually high level languages. So as I told you, assembly level languages, okay, assembly language like 8080, 8085, those are assembly languages. Those we can't understand. Okay, that's the reason those languages are very difficult to understand and difficult to learn also. But these languages are very easy to learn. And next important feature of Java is object oriented. Okay, what is object oriented? What is object oriented programming language? See, object oriented is nothing but everything is an object in Java. That means you can create a class and you can create an object, a number of objects for the same class, and we can implement object oriented programming concepts. What are those object oriented programming concepts? What are the object programming concepts? So, for suppose we know already object oriented programming concepts like abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. So these are the characteristics of object-oriented programming languages. So what is abstraction? What is abstraction? Abstraction means what? So what is abstraction? Abstraction is nothing but a characteristics of a programming language where we can hide irrelevant data and expose only relevant data. That is nothing but a abstraction. Okay. So we only expose the relevant details of the program. Okay. So end user no need to learn what is inside. What is the logic implemented? He should know only how to use the functions. Okay. That is all about the abstraction. Okay. Relevant details gets exposed and the relevant details gets be hidden. And what is encapsulation? Encapsulation is nothing but a amalgamation of member variables and function inside a class. Okay, by using type specifiers like public, private, and protected, we can limit the scope of the member variables and functions inside a class. That is nothing but a encapsulation. We are going to encapsulate both member variables and functions inside a class. That is one of the attribute we can see in Java. And third very important concept called inheritance. What is inheritance? What is the use of inheritance? What is the use of inheritance? Anybody can answer this question. What is inheritance? Passing the data from parent to child class. Very good. Very good, Ankit. One class inheriting the properties of other. Very good. Okay. Very good answers. Yeah. Okay. No problem. Let me explain. So inheritance is basically very useful to reuse the code. Reusability of code can be implemented using a inheritance, right? See, there is a program where you have to create a login functionality. Okay, this login functionality has to be used before going to access any feature or programming inside your application. That means login is a mandatory or it acts as a prerequisite. Without login, we can't use the features of the applications or access the functionalities of the application, right? So to create or develop internal transfer or internal transaction of the funds, do you create a Java functionality again and again? Not required. If you create a login functionality and make this function, make this class as a parent class, we can use this parent class in a derived classes. So this is all about reusability. You can reuse the code. If you reuse the code, that basically decreases the application development effort. So basically inheritance is very useful to reduce the application development effort. Inheritance are different types. There are so many types of inheritance. One is single, multiple, multi-level, and hierarchical. What is single? What is single? There's a parent class and there is a derived class. The derived class is going to inherit all the properties or methods of the parent class. Is called as single inheritance. Single inheritance means only one parent, one child. And multiple inheritance, where there is a derived class, it has a multiple parents. That is nothing but a multiple inheritance. Derived parent 1 and parent 2. So there are two parents. If it is going to inherit the methods from the two parents, then it is called as a multiple inheritance. Does Java supports multiple inheritance? Does Java supports multiple inheritance? Very good. Excellent, Nikla. Super. Super. Okay. So Java does not support multiple inheritance. Due to security reasons, Java does not support multiple inheritance. It supports only through interfaces. Okay. That is one of the limitation we can see in Java. What about multi-level inheritance? There is a parent, there is a child, there is a super child. Then it is called as a multi-level inheritance. Okay, there is a concept called a multi-level inheritance where a parent, child, and super child. Then it is called as a multi-level inheritance. Okay, so then the final concept under object-oriented programming, object-oriented programming language is polymorphism. What is polymorphism? What is polymorphism? See, this is all about features of Java. Features of Java are very simple actually. This is a simple and easy to learn object-oriented programming language. It is secured and architecture neutral and portal, and Java is a robust language, and Java supports multi-threaded. It's a multi-threading supported by Java. So this is all about features of Java. We are just discussing object-oriented features of Java programming, and where we have already discussed about abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance. Now we are discussing about polymorphism. What is polymorphism? Yeah, usage of same name function to achieve different actions. Very good. Depending on which object the function is called from. Very good. Okay. Very good. Yeah. Let me explain what is polymorphism. Okay. Polymorphism are two types. One is a dynamic and a static. What is dynamic and what is static? Static polymorphism, also called as compile time polymorphism, and run dynamic polymorphism, also called as a runtime polymorphism. Okay. Static polymorphism can be implemented using a method overloading. Okay. Method overloading. And then what about dynamic polymorphism? This can be implemented using method override. Okay. So let's discuss what is the difference between a method overloading and method overriding. What is method overloading first of all? Method overloading is nothing but a class can have the same name function with a different signatures. Okay. The class can have a same name of the functions with a different list of parameters, different type of parameters, and a different order of the parameters, and different type of parameters and number of parameters. So Java compiler will distinguish the method based on the number of parameters or number of arguments or type of arguments and order of arguments. Okay. So this is all about method overloading. When to use this method overloading? When to use this method overloading? Can you give a real-time example of a method overloading? Yeah. Same method declared in a parent class. Okay. I'm asking, can you give real-time example of method overloading? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me explain. Method overloading, for suppose you are creating an application where you need to calculate the salary of an employee. Okay, basically you have to calculate the salary of an employee. The salary of the employee is changing from department to department. For suppose the person is working in marketing department, where his salary is purely depending on the allowances and okay, other targets which he is going to achieve during that month. If he closes sales of 15 or 10, so automatically there would be a more variable pay for the marketing people based on the sales performance of the candidate, okay, his salary will vary. For suppose a person who is working in HR department, where there would not be any, okay, variable pay. Okay, everything is a fixed component. His salary calculation is different. That means the number of parameters will vary from department to department. The calculation of the salary is same. The name of the method is same. But inside a function, inside a method, calculation is different. Hence, we have to create multiple functions with the same name, but with a different order of okay, arguments and different type of parameters, and order of by giving a different order of the parameters and number of parameters. Okay. So method gets overloaded in compile time based on the number of parameters, order of parameters, and type of parameters. So that is all about method overloading. Are we clear? Okay. Coming to method overriding. What is method overriding? You have to answer. So what is method overriding? Subclass parent and parent class. Parent class remodified in the child class to provide a child specific functionality. Okay, very good, Nikla. Good try, Murali. Yeah, let's see what is method overriding. If a method of the subclass has the same signature and return type as that of the method in superclass, then we say that the method is overridden. Okay, see, what is a method signature? What is a method signature? If we give a void sum of integer a comma integer b, that means it is a signature of a method. Okay, if a method of the subclass, to implement a method overriding, we need a parent class and a child class. Without a parent and child classes, you can't implement a method overriding. That's the first prerequisite to implement a method overriding. If a method of the subclass or derived class or child class, one another same, technologies are same meaning. Okay. Subclass has the same signature and return type as that of the method in superclass, then we say that the method is overridden. Okay. This can be implemented using a polymorphism. This can be implemented using a polymorphism. Can you give an example here? I will give one simple example, very easy to understand an example. I'm just going to give it to you. Public. Okay, public class. Okay, it is a super class actually, super. Void tests. Okay, system.out.println of, okay, no parameters. Okay, closing the method, and void test of integer a. Okay, integer a, system.out.println of a plus a. Okay, there are two methods. One having a parameter, one does not have any parameters. There are two methods, right? See, there is another class. There is another class, public class, Okay, this is a overridden class, are also called as a subclass, or child class. Child class. Okay, extends. You know the keywords to implement a inheritance. We use a keyword called extends. Extends, and the class name is a super. Okay, class name is super. Inside this, what we are doing this void test. Okay, void test inside this integer x comma y comma z. Okay, x equal to 10, y equals to 10, z equals to x plus y. Okay, system dot out dot println of z. Okay, closed. Void test of integer a. Okay, a equals to a plus 10, equal to a plus 10. And then I'm just going to copy this one. Now tell me, there are two classes. One is superclass, another one is child class. Superclass has two methods. One is test, another one is test, and child class also has two methods, test and test. Okay, so what happened here? Here there are two functions with the same name. That means it's a method overloading. Okay, it's a compile time polymorphism. In compile time, compiler will decide which method needs to be invoked based on the number of parameters, order of parameter. Here there is no parameter. Here we have parameter or arguments. Then coming to the derived class, where again we have used a test and test integer a. So that means we are using the same methods, but implementation is different. Here see, we have only system.out.println statement, but in a derived class, we are using some logic inside this function. That means the method created in a super class overridden in a child class. That is nothing but a method overriding. That is nothing but a method overriding. How do you call these functions basically? How do you call actually public class? Okay, override test. Okay, override test. So at this we have a main method, public static void main string arguments. Okay, so at this how we are going to call these methods. See, simply you use child class. So you no need to create any object for a super class. Here we have a child class obj child class equals to new child class. I think you know what is the use of new. Actually, new is a keyword that allocates memory for the object. After that, we are just going to use a object for child class. Okay, dot test. Okay, again dot test of 10. Done. Okay. Again, I'm going to create a one more method. That is for a super class. Super class. Okay. Super class. Just give me 1 minute. I have to put a charger. Okay. Yeah. Now we have created two classes. We have created a class, two classes. One is super class, another one is child class. Child class, there are two methods. This is nothing but a method overloading. Okay. This is nothing but a method overloading. We have two methods: test without parameters and test with parameters. This is a method overloading, and we have a child class. And so again, we are using the same methods in okay child class. That means this is nothing but a method overriding. We are just overriding these methods by implementing its own functionality. And then finally, we are just calling these functions using by creating a methods. Okay, what happened here actually? If your method overrides one of its superclass methods, we can invoke the overridden method through the use of the keyword called super. See here, actually it is a keyword you should not use in practice. Super one, I'm just going to change the keyword called super one. Yeah. For suppose you want to exclusively use, these are actually overridden methods. See, these are overridden in a child classes. But if you want to use the methods that is created in a super one class exclusively, you can use a keyword called super. You can use a keyword called a super. Okay. Are you clear? Okay. This is the derived class, child class. Actually, inside the test, I just want to use the method of test that is there inside a super. Then you can simply use a super dot test. Okay. If you want to use this method with the parameters void integer a, you can simply use here inside super dot test of 20. Okay. See, both the methods can be invoked exclusively from the child method by using a keyword called super. By using a keyword called super. Is it clear? I just okay. So better you can open Eclipse for practice. If you have Eclipse, please open. Otherwise, please install Eclipse today itself. Okay, here we have method overriding. Okay, here we have a class. Okay, inside this class, if you look at okay, there are parent class and derived class. This is a main method. Inside a main method, we are just invoking actually method overloading, overriding basically. So I think this is method overloading. Let's see. Yeah, this is a another class, overload tester. This is a tester class. Inside of overload tester, we have how many methods are there? Add four methods are there with the same name. Okay. all methods having the same signature, sorry, different signatures with the same method name. This is nothing but a method overloading. Okay, multiple methods are there with the same name, but the different arguments. Okay, coming to method overriding. Method overriding, let's see here. Here we have a same method. Same method here we have, but yeah, look at here. There are two classes. This is super class and this is a derived class. This is a super class and this is a derived class. And the derived class also have the same name, but this is a new method. Altogether, it is a new method, but a different implementation. Okay, here you can see we have created an object for a child class, and here we have created an object for a parent class. This is a parent class, this is a child class, and we are using this method called overridden method. That means the implementation has changed. Names are same. Here see, names are same, but implementation is different. Look at here. Here system.out.println with a different text, but here the system.out.println has an entirely different text. We just right click and run it. Okay, it simply goes to the child class and it will just simply run the objects which you have created for a derived class only. Okay, derived class only we can invoke. If you want to exclusively invoke a method of super class, we have to use a keyword called super. Then only you can use it. Otherwise, you can't use it. Okay, so you get here. So this is all about method overloading and method overriding. Just let me know if you have any doubts. So this is all about object-oriented concepts of Java. Any questions?